Thank you for watching My News 26. I'm Paula Jasper. I was lucky enough to say those words for the first 5 years that My News 26 was on the air. There were many firsts in those 5 years. First time we were on air, first time we covered Northern Michigan on charter cable, and I met so many wonderful friends, friends that will always be my lifelong friends. I'm now working at Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce, meeting many more friends, and also seeing the friends that I met when I was on the TV station. Thank you so much, congratulations, and I'll be watching.
Welcome back to our special look at 5 years of My News 26. Our station has now been on the air for a full 5 years. But as you heard before the break, well over a full year went into preparing for the launch before My News 26 debuted. And that year led to the exciting moment when My News 26's transmitter was first turned on, and the first My News 26 studio, located in what's now this yoga studio, went on air.
Here it goes.
The moments following those 3 words were perhaps the most intense in the history of the station, as Dylan Rodenbaugh and Eric Wotilla checked measurements on the station's first transmitter and eagerly awaited to ensure the equipment fired up properly.
Going up, no reflected power. Do I look nervous? A little bit?
There was a nervous tension as the two awaited the first pictures from the equipment that neither was particularly familiar with.
My stomach is like...
Mine too.
And just a few moments later, for the first time, pictures from WMNN, My News 26, were seen over the air.
Yes! We are on air.
The day that we turned the transporter onto color bars, I can say I believe Eric did the same thing. You just sit with the TV on, looking at those color bars, going, "Look at what we did. Look at what's on the TV right now."
And when that TV finished rescanning, and we saw a pattern of color bars with just our logo in the corner, which was, of course, our test pattern to get the station on air and do some testing before we could do programming. We are up and running. We were ecstatic. We were absolutely ecstatic watching that first test pattern go on air. I think I posted on Facebook that day and said, a photo of a color bars on a TV in my living room, and I said, best TV station ever, best TV show ever, because it's mine, And it was, for the first couple of viewers who might have scanned in and found that test pattern, of course, it's nothing. It's a tone and some color bars. But we had it on air. We had our own TV station, and we were full steam ahead on actually getting programming on the station. It was definitely a monumental month for us.
You're watching My News 26. Now, your local news.
That monumental month led not only to our very first newscast, broadcast at 7 p.m. on February 27th, 2011, but also the on-air debut of 2 more members of the My News 26 team. Those now well-known faces, Morris Langworthy and Paula Jasper, were first approached about getting involved with the station just before it signed on.
The original team, it was Eric, myself, Paula Jasper. Paula was there from the very beginning. I remember the first time that we did an interview at the YMCA. That was Paula's first test. That was like the first story we ever did. Morris came on in the fall.
I talked to Eric in, I want to say November of 2010. And at the time I was working in the tourism industry, if you will, of Cadillac, working with snowmobilers and bringing up tourists and getting them on the snowmobile trail for the first time. So while Eric was working behind the scenes, getting all the licenses done, getting all the hardware in place, I was still helping with the Cadillac snowmobile tourism industry. And once that snow was gone, and I had to deal with Eric. Just give me till the snow is gone so I can finish this up and then come in. And I think I'd take maybe 3-4 days once the snow was gone and I couldn't snowmobile anymore. And I dove right in head first. First hour in the office, I was filming weather and putting that on air.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Morris Langworthy with your My News 26 Weather Authority forecast.
At the time, we were in a very little cramped space. We did not have a set. I actually filmed against a 73-inch TV, and we framed it to look like you couldn't tell I was just standing in front of a TV, sitting on a cheap desk I think we got from a thrift shop. that Eric paid $5 for, I think. And so it was a little camera trick, a little lighting trick to make it look like I was doing that. And yeah, day one, I was on air.
Early on, it was all volunteer. Morris Langworthy would drive up from Big Rapids every day to do the weather for free. You know, nobody was paid, but it wasn't because the TV station didn't want to pay us, it was because it couldn't. You know, we only had a few advertisers. It was to pay the lights, if we could do that, and to pay for the tower. It's kind of funny, you hear stories about technology companies and how they start out with just a few people and they're really passionate about it. The same could be said with this TV station. You know, it wasn't some big corporation that came in and put millions of dollars down and said, we're going to make a TV station. It was just a whole bunch of local people who put it together and who made what some thought was impossible.
We were doing everything non-traditional. I was exposed to a lot of things in college broadcast-wise, and I walked into My News 26 for the very first time, and Eric was doing everything a little different, a little more cutting edge. He kind of invented his own way of producing everything. Yeah, we looked like a news content, but getting from point A to point B was a little non-traditional. We only had one camera back then, and that camera was precious because if anything happened to that camera, we were done. Shut down production. I'm not even sure we had really backups from that camera when we first started. Budgets were tight when we first started. I remember it was, hey, Eric, we need a stapler. And it was questionable if we were going to get staples or a stapler. And we'd probably get the stapler without the staples.
We're an underdog story. You know, we're a story of a lot of people told us right on, you're never going to make it. You're crazy for even trying to do this. You know, maybe in a few years it's going to go bankrupt and you're done. And we've proved many, many, many people wrong that there's a lot that can be done if you just believe it.
That belief in the project and strong enthusiasm from the small My News 26 team during our first year on air led to a move to a permanent home, this studio on 13th Street in Cadillac. When 5 years of 26 continues, we'll take a look at the fixer-upper that became our permanent home and get a glimpse at what the future holds. Stay tuned.